Still to come, we're going to hear from David Moyes, a big win for him tonight. But first, Man City survived the scare at Craven Cottage tonight. Live on talkSPORT 2, Pep Guardiola's men narrowly beat Fulham 5-4 after going 5-1 up. The story tonight is, of course, Erling Haaland. He scored his 100th Premier League goal for City. Here's how that moment sounded live on talkSPORT.
Here he is again! Left-footed shot is in! That's the one he wanted! Erling Haaland, left-footed from the middle of the penalty area, and finally, he is a member of the Premier League's 100 club, a top-flight centurion and the quickest player to have scored 100 Premier League goals. He really is a record breaker, one of English football's true greats of the modern age, and what a finish, what a way to do it. Pinpoint accuracy, it flashed past Leno, and Manchester City's main man has got 100 Premier League goals.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff from him. City gaffer Pep Guardiola spoke to talkSPORT after the game, was asked whether he was worried whether his side would throw away another 4-goal lead.
How can I be worried? With 5-1, 5-4, 10 or 15 minutes left, of course I was worried. I'm a human being, I'm sensitive. In 5-1 I was calm, 5-4 no. So of course I worry, try to find some substitution, Nathan 5 in the back, or maybe for the crosses, maybe for the fight in the back, Josko Guardiola could make a clearance in the last action of the game. But they are top players. Look the guys King, look the Kevin, the winger in the outside, and you always exceptional player, and all of them, they know what they have to do. Marco is a top manager, so I know it. So that's why I give a lot of credit. Always have been tough. We won we won. The result was good, but always have a struggle against Fulham. Always.
Yeah, look, obviously he's giving credit to Fulham there, and they get themselves back in the game. They get 3 points. If they drew that game, he would have been fuming.
You know, I think he probably is fuming, but his public persona, he's come out, we won the game, that's the most important thing. But privately, mate, he will not be impressed with that. That's a worrying performance. We saw bits of it against Leeds. They're nowhere near the imperious Manchester City. That's why I've been saying it for ages. I don't think City are good enough to win the title. Now, I know they picked up 6 points in those games.
Yeah.
They conceded 6 goals. You know, they're just defensively not on point for me. Having said that, I got Haaland up top, right? So, you know, and
Foden.
Well, do you know, we haven't even mentioned Phil Foden.
I mean,
and that's not fair.
Wow.
That's not fair. He's got another 2. He's good. He scored 4 goals in 2 games now.
Yeah.
Phil. He scored a big goal against Leeds at the weekend.
I mean, the goal tonight was just
yes, the one with his left foot, and he opens it up and bends it in. And, you know, he does look back to his best. It's a good time to do it in the World Cup year.
Yeah.
But 5-1 up, to be hanging on, that's not the sign of a team that can win the Premier League.
Let's go to Dave. He's a Man City fan. He was at the game, right, Dave?
All right, Dave-o.
Boys, how are you?
All right, mate.
Right, Dave. You're 5-1 up. You're cruising. I thought he was going to put on a bit of a masterclass, and it all went pear-shaped.
Yeah, I didn't think the same thing would sort of happen with last week, after the weekend, sorry. It was going so well, to being like, okay, right, we're finally going to have like 8-1, that season, all that sort of
Dave, we can't. Dave, are we on loudspeaker? Take us off loudspeaker, mate.
Struggling to hear you, bud.
Can't hear you.
Sounds like you're on the water.
Is that better?
Not really.
One second, boys.
Oh, he's gone. Is he back, Dave?
Let's clear it.
There he is.
There you go.
There he is.
There we go.
That's
Nice one.
Dave,
Yeah. Yeah,
Completely
sorry
different.
about that. Yeah. Stressed. That was one of the worst endings I've seen. I don't know what happened. We just absolutely collapsed. In fact,
Yeah.
I do kind of know it was them subs.
Go on.
Right, we were quite comfortable then. Obviously, you know, they scored some quite impressive goals. But bringing on John Stones, who, you know, he's not been playing much. He's a bit out of character. He's kind of like a shadow of who he was. You know, John Stones was a big name, big identity, and he looks like an absolute slug right now.
Yeah, he bought him on because that was he bought him on just after Wobie got the goal. They bought him back to 5-2. So, you know, he's bought him on just right. And I just make the point about Eddie Howe. When you're taking off players and you're putting on John Stones for Gonzalez.
Yeah, still 20 minutes left, right? There's still time in the game.
Still 25 left.
25 minutes
left. I mean, we saw on the weekend what happened to Leeds. You know, teams can just get back into it out of nowhere. And our defence right now is so unstable that I'm not surprised teams like Leeds, who are 19th in the table, I think, You know, they managed to get opportunities where they're level with us, putting us under pressure. Manchester City.
But you can be like, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. You can be in the same game, sometimes the same half, so good, and it looks like City look like they're going to cause all sorts of problems. They could chase Arsenal down, and then within 25 minutes you're going, no, they can't. No, not on that evidence. And that's twice now I've seen that. But like the weekend where first half you look good, look really good. It's like, when's the next goal? Get the third. And second half, Leeds, you were penned in. Leeds played well. It felt like Leeds might get.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him.
Yeah.
But he got 6 points.
Well, yeah, that's what I can't really complain because we've got the results, but I can, in the sense of what I'm watching, doesn't leave me to feel good knowing we've got, right, you can say Sunderland, whatever, but they are really in form. Real Madrid as well, which they're having a bit of a weird moment in time, but, you know, that's Real Madrid no matter what, away. And you can kind of imagine what sort of defensive problems could happen in them sort of situations. Someone fast like Vinicius, you know, absolutely blitzing. You know, Nunez, who isn't a real defender, I mean, he's been great, give him credit. Guardiola's having a bit of a slip.
Mind you, what about his clearance?
Yeah, his clearance.
What about that?
Well, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's on the, on the line.
I couldn't believe that.
It's on the line.
I've noticed the last few games, though, you know, that is one great moment, and you've got to appreciate moments in matches like these, you know, when you're under pressure and it's a one-goal difference. But, you know, he like even the Liverpool game I saw, he was quite wobbly, he gives the ball away a bit. And I think he's just a general...
Isn't it collective, though? If you're conceding that many goals that quickly, right? What is it, 3 goals in 17 minutes or something ridiculous? Yeah. That's a collective for me. That's not, that's not one person making mistakes. That's a team collective. And I think the problem Man City have got a little bit, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, when you go out there, you're going out to win the game, you're playing the Man City way, Pep Guardiola, front foot, keeping the ball, hurting teams, Haaland scoring goals, and then you're going up and you're comfortable, and there isn't a different way of seeing a game out. We're going to carry on playing that way. But when you do try and all of a sudden change to be like, right, we're comfortable now, I don't really know if you know how to play that way. You know, like Arsenal at the moment can play both ways. They can hurt you, they can go at you, they can blitz you, but then they can also shut up shop and don't concede and see a game out and win 1-0. I don't feel Man City have got the other way. And I think that's where, if you're going to challenge for the title, you've got to figure that out in game.
No, I completely agree with you. In regards to the defensive issues, I'm not trying to say it's one player. I'm saying it's a collective, like a bunch of individual errors with each player. But I think the reason this sort of, when we try to stay the same and try, you know, okay, let's play it out, win the game 2-0 up, for example, we don't have them sort of players where they can, you know, get goals, except for Haaland and now Foden, who, you know, Foden's obviously scored many, but only recently he's picked form back up. Savinho doesn't score goals. He created a good chance today. Give him a bit of credit for that. But these sort of footballers we've got are sort of developing ones. And I think a club like Manchester City need established big-name players who can get goals even from whatever position they're in. Yeah. It's a bit lackluster, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he did make that sub on 62 minutes tells me a little bit about how he probably felt, Pep. And he kind of, you know, showed us that there's good reason.
Yeah, I know, but you were 5-2.
Of course
it didn't seem at all like Fulham would get anything out of it. They were rubbish. And then something happens and they've got big rush of adrenaline and they're basically back into it. What could have been 5-5.
Yeah.
Do you think you can win a title?
Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like Arsenal could do it again, like the second place thingy, but just God.
They need pressure though. They need, you know. Yeah. I mean, look,
they put pressure on them. They won.
Yes, they 6 points, right? No one's denying that. But if you feel like you can't get away with leading and being so comfortable in the game, allowing the side back into it, feels there's going to be a moment where you do drop valuable points and you're like throwing it away. You've done your best in the last 2 games.
Yeah. I mean, our away form has been quite drab. You know, we won today, but that could have been another mistake, another disaster. Just a bit concerned, sort of, these big games, you know, big players that our defence are facing, and they're not capable of handling it. And
got to be happy with Foden, though. I mean, he's back to his best.
He's unbelievable, you know. Yeah, it's great to see him, you know, properly playing like that again. It's amazing. It's great spark. He entertains us so much, you know. That's why most fans absolutely love Phil Foden.
It's great to see, you know, when you see like a young kid who's been at the club since he was 9, Do you know? And he's like unbelievable, and he's playing for the club, and he's doing stuff like that, and you just sit there and you're almost in awe of it. You know, and you're going, God, mate. I mean, this kid is Man City, isn't he? Do you know, like
No,
he's
it's a
everything that they
perfect
are.
story that any like young footballer dreams of, really.
Yeah.
To be in that position, playing for the club you've supported all your life, playing with those big names, doing great, making a name for yourself, especially in that 2024 season.
Yeah.
Love to see it again.
It's a big 6
Hopefully
months for
carries
him.
on with it.
It's a big, big nick, as it is for every international, right?
Yeah.
But you feel in Phil's situation, because at the moment
There's a lot of good number 10s.
there are, and and it feels like he's probably just behind them at the moment.
Yeah.